Or that's something like that. Leave that. We want to slow Okay, thanks for it.
Okay. Welcome to the October 2nd meeting of the Board of Raleigh County Commissioners. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do we have any public comments this morning?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
I'm here on behalf of each committee to present our October employee of the month. And this is what was written about this employee. This person is an amazing employee and a person that came to Raleigh County EMS 5 years ago with little EMS experience. In that time, they have done amazingly well, not only learning the department, but also advancing their own clinical skills and knowledge. They sought higher level education and did well in class, brought that back to the department, and has has flourished as a clinical and clinician. Sorry. Brandy is very compassionate with all patients she encounters in all circumstances. There's never a doubt that you would want Brandy to come to your aid if you ever need arises. She's patient advocate and wants to do the best with each individual. She'll do what she can for every patient and goes the extra step to assist the patient, finds the assistance they need by utilizing the CCT. If there's something that is new or different, she asks questions and wants to learn to better herself in the department. She's very professional and goes above and beyond her everyday duties on shift. She takes on extra work and is willing to help out wherever she can, and is one of the hardest working people in the department. Perhaps some of her hard work is not appreciated enough as she does the little things that often are taken for granted. She often heads up crew meals as well, and is excellent chef. Brandy has a positive attitude and a great sense of humor. She is very deserving of this recognition, as her hard work and dedication are invaluable. So, Reese wants to present you with some plaque and 2 movie tickets. So, yeah, you got it.
I've never seen an iPhone do that. It's just frozen.
Oh boy.
That's weird. Okay. I have one. Yeah. You want to use mine?
Obviously, you're an Android, huh?
Wow. Okay. I keep saying I need a new phone. I guess I said.
Smiles, 1, 2, 3. Big smiles, 1, 2, 3.
No, I have a black screen.
Congratulations. Yeah, what are movie tickets?
Thank you.
Did you get a new phone sooner than you think, huh?
Hated that happened.
You need to have an employee iPhone class.
Apparently, well, I mean, I think I know how to use it, but it isn't black. I don't know.
It's the case, right?
Did you turn it on?
I didn't put it on, shoot.
Okay, is there any other public comment? Seeing none, we'll go to commission comments. Commissioner McKinley.
All right. Well, Friday night was National Garden class again. The morning was about flowers. Afternoon, we toured several locations. Went to Kansas Forest Service, the transfer station, community gardens, butterfly garden at the zoo, and the household hazardous waste. And when we were there, Justin Brenner at HHW gave us a kind of a tour and explanation. He did a great job. I mean, I've met him several times already, but he did a really good job explaining stuff, and people had questions about doing stuff. He really knows what's going on there. It was interesting. Then at the end of that Friday afternoon, in the afternoon, attended the retirement event for Craig Cox here, had a good talk with him. Friday night, I went to the Manhattan High football game. It was a homecoming game, and took care of the board pretty quickly after the first half. I mean, it was a track meet. And then the second, because they got hit enough lead, it was a running clock the second half, so it went fast. But yeah, the homecoming is a little different. But really, I think half the senior class of that gets nominated for homecoming. I mean, there was 50 people. Every club gets to nominate 2 people.
Really?
I mean, I saw this whole line of people lining up, and then somebody told me, so yeah, and every club gets to nominate 2 people.
So they don't vote before the game?
And then they voted, because then they announced who the winner was. But the ballot must have been 2 pages long. It was a field full of people. Yeah, it was different.
Things change.
Anything else?
That's it.
Okay.
That's all.
Commissioner Ford.
It's October.
I know.
How the hell would that happen?
I don't know. It doesn't feel like October.
It doesn't. Yeah. At least maybe until tomorrow night anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, Thursday afternoon, I met with Michelle Sink. She's the area director for Big Brothers and Big Sisters. They've got a big annual fundraiser taking place for Thursday out of Prairiewood. Dropped off some items for their auction and discussed some other plans possibly for the future. Hope all goes well Thursday evening. Kind of watching to see what happens there, and we'll kind of adjust and plan accordingly. Also on Thursday, I met with my doctors at the new Stormont Vale facility. So glad that's here and opened up finally. So glad not having to go to Topeka anymore. Just regular monthly visit, but I don't know. There's 5 or 6 doctors kind of in this rotation, and it gets maybe a little frustrating because everybody's got different thoughts and visions on things, and it's kind of tough to work around. I do probably need to change up my routine a little bit. Kind of grown a little bit stagnant here over the summer months, but it's kind of hard to work around everybody's direction sometimes. So yeah, I don't know on that. I think maybe I need to stretch those visits out maybe just a little bit, get a little bit more consistency in the midst of all that, but we'll see. Friday, I did stop down here at the BOCC chambers as well for Craig Cox's retirement ceremony. At least while I was down here anyway, there was a really good turnout. Sounds like it got a little bit rowdy a little bit later during the event there. Broken chairs and pens everywhere and stuff. So looks like I missed the best part of it.
I missed that part.
I did too. So should have came a little bit later when I was really having fun, I guess. I do have to really say I did really enjoy working with Craig on legal and tax concerns over the 4.5 years I've been a commissioner.
from the sounds of it, he'll be missed by many here in the county as well. And I wish himself and his family all the success in the future and future endeavors. Also on Friday afternoon, I had a Zoom call with members of the city of Manhattan, the Chamber of Commerce and the Flint Hills AUSA chapter to discuss and prepare for next week's trip to the AUSA conference in Washington, D.C. Most of our concerns kind of centered around possible late minute changes that would have had to take place if the shutdown would have happened. We would be able to have meetings up on Capitol Hill, obviously, and several other things. I guess as it turns out, that's not going to happen, at least for the duration of this particular trip. So good news there. I am looking forward to the discussion and interaction. I think we've got a pretty good agenda put together for that, and all the other events and things that will be taking place. So looking forward to getting that in gear and done and taken care of. Friday night, I didn't go to the game, didn't listen to all the homecoming festivities. I guess that's probably a good thing, but did listen to bits and pieces of that on the radio. Figured we'd probably take care of Emporia pretty easily, or I guess very void of talent. I guess I would probably say at this particular point in time, it's kind of sad, but it is what it is. But got a big one coming up on Friday versus JC. Happens right during the K-State game, which is on Friday night too. So I have to figure out how to balance it. Thank gosh, I got lots of devices, so I guess we'll probably be okay with that one. So Saturday morning, do want to stress morning, headed out to Fort Riley, enjoyed Apple Days for the second straight year. It's really cool out there how they set that up and all the different kind of booths and attractions and stuff they have up there. They got 4 shows up there, and they set up kind of different eras of equipment and vehicles, and we got people that are down there kind of firing some weapons off with blanks, I might add. They had both the museums open, including the gift shops. So I was able to go in there and pick up the items I wasn't able to pick up in June because the Square machine wasn't working at the time. So that was kind of cool. And I said it went over in the morning before it got too hot because it did get kind of warm on Saturday. I do urge everybody to, if you don't have an opportunity or haven't had an opportunity to check that out, you really should. It really gives you a really good idea of what Fort Riley is about. It gives you a chance to kind of walk around and just check out what the installation's really all about. And everybody's out and about and checking it out and very friendly, and there's all kinds of stuff to do. So it's a really good time, and it's not 8,000 degrees outside, but can't help that. They do try to plan that on a weekend where K-State's not playing, obviously, as well. So the community can kind of interact with the installation as well. Also on Saturday, because K-State didn't play, I watched my other Wildcats from Kentucky, and they easily dispatched to Florida, which I thought was going to be a close game, but boy, it was not. I don't know if that's Kentucky's really, really good this year and Florida's not, or just not for sure, but boy, they just stuck it to them. They're 5-0, by the way. And in the top 25 too. I've got a friend who's a Louisville fan who's also 5-0 right now. So I need to get with him and make a bet. Actually, I need to get with him and actually get my last 2 bets back. He owes me a couple bottles of bourbon, and then maybe we'll just triple up or something this year. Then maybe I just
Or nothing, or what?
yeah, and I think I need to cash in and maybe just start in all over to make sure I just don't end up losing all out on that one. So yeah, I'll put that on my list of things to do here before we take off here this next week. So yesterday morning was kind of because I had to get up early in the morning and watch my Jaguars play because they played the London game, which started at 8:30 in the morning. They won 24-7, another sluggish game. I don't know. The NFL teams this year, I don't know. It's a weird year so far. Even the Chiefs. I watched that game last night too, and it's just sluggish. I don't know. I guess it's early, so I don't know. Maybe the Chiefs are, dare I say, a little distracted at the moment. Maybe maybe that's not helping, but anyway, they did win, so I guess that works for them too. So is what it is. So, and took care of a few other things at home. Working on some things, getting ready for this week and what's going to be pretty busy month for the first at least 3 weeks anyway. So it's where I'm at. That's all I got.
Okay, did you get any pie on Saturday?
I didn't, they were still working on those.
Oh, really?
Usually, last couple of years, those you usually pre-ordered in advance.
Yeah.
For some reason that didn't happen this year. I don't have to ask about that. But it was set up, but they weren't done yet.
Oh, okay.
So, but it was there and available. I just come a little bit early and I tried kind of walking around in the heat for that, but
Okay. Well,
I think
check
looking
it.
at things, I could probably do without one pie and be okay.
Yeah, I was planning to go and then it got really hot and I said, oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it would have been nice. We know what's going to happen. It's going to start off summer here, and by the end of the month, we'll have snow.
Probably. It's,
Air conditioning yesterday and by the end of the week, when it gets down to 40.
Right.
Press snow on Halloween.
Yeah.
oh, well,
Or ice or
that's happened
something
before.
crazy. And when it happens, go ahead, blame me. I jinxed it. Yeah, that's fine. I'll live with it.
Okay. Well, you'll be out of town, so we can't do a whole lot.
Well, no, me, it'll happen. Well, actually, the series of tropical storms and stuff going on out on the East Coast. Looks like it's going to be down in the 50s or 60s out there and rain. So bring an umbrella, I guess, or buy one when I'm there. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see. Friday morning, I was here in the office. I got caught up on phone calls, emails, and I went over the agenda and documents for today's meeting. Later in the morning, I had a meeting with County Attorney Wilkerson about several issues. They've really been busy with current and upcoming trials. A lot. And Lizzie, I also had a meeting with Elizabeth Ward concerning HR questions that I had. And then I attended the retirement reception for Craig Cox. It was great to meet some of his family and friends. And I didn't stay for the big stuff, I guess. I was here late and I thought, oh, it's pretty much over. I don't know what went on afterwards. But anyway, it's going to be a real change not having him here. So relied on him a great deal for a lot of things. So Saturday, I caught up on household and yard chores, did some shopping downtown, but it was really super busy. The mall parking lot was packed and everything was packed. And apparently Pumpkin Patch was being held down in points.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't realize that, but I had it, so I left before I went downtown. Got to take all the crowds. Anyway, let's see. Sunday, I had lunch with Senator Reddy. We caught up on various issues in the community and the upcoming election. We also discussed some legislative issues, and then talked about the Keats wastewater issues, and she's going to try to help us with some grants. And so I have to send her some information. So then later that evening, I watched some of the Chiefs game. It was going too late. The first part of the game was pretty good, and then it started going downhill. And I thought, oh, I don't know. But I've got to get to bed. So that's it. So that's it for my comments.
Ready for business, commissioners?
Yes.
First item we have is Mental Health and Construction Day proclamation.
All that stuff. That's just in the section.
Wish they'd had that when I was in construction.
Me too.
That's a good idea.
Some of the bosses and superintendents I had, I kind of needed it, to be kind of honest with you. I'll go ahead and make a motion and move to sign the Standing Up Together to Promote Mental Health and Construction proclamation.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to sign Standing Up Together to Promote Mental Health and Construction proclamation.
I saw something about an event that's being had. Is that on the 18th? Yeah. You'll talk about it later. Okay, that's all right. Yeah, perfect.
Okay. I guess we did all in favor. Didn't
No, we did.
Oh, we did. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All three signed, please.
I sabotaged that one, my bad.
Know that we've ever had 3 proclamations on one business meeting. I know we've had 2 before. I don't know that we've had 3. And I think we get a couple more coming up pretty soon.
I was just saying, we're going to have a flat string of pictures if cancel works.
Get a new photographer in the building.
I don't know why they thought they could trust me to begin with.
That's the first time and probably the last, that's for sure.
If you need to use my camera, you can.
Yeah, no, I've been
You gotta-
to do that. I mean,
gotta
I
go.
have an iPhone. It should work just fine, but it didn't want to. So.
Did it come back on?
It did.
Okay.
It did, but it was just stuck. It's so strange.
Guess as it was probably made at the University of Nebraska.
Oh,
Yeah, you probably don't want to talk about football, do you?
well, I mean, it's number 2. Did you? No one honestly.
You kind of stuttered there for a second.
I mean, think about it. Like, number 2 team, rated team. I
Next
think
commission
we might have a good time.
from Michigan. Need a motion to sign Domestic Violence Awareness Month proclamation.
I'll make a motion to sign the Domestic Violence Awareness Month proclamation.
Second,
It's been moved and seconded to sign the Domestic Violence Awareness Month proclamation. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All 3 sign, please.
You've got a lot of reading to do.
I'm not looking forward to reading all these.
Yeah. Don't look very long, this is not like that.
This one's, yeah, the mental health one has got lots of big words in it. And then there's another one.
There is another one. What's that? I don't know that we ever had 3 in one business meeting.
Yeah, that's kind
No,
of.
we've had 2.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that event tomorrow night's not gonna get maybe rained out.
They're kind of iffy on what time that rain's coming through right now. It might be later than they expect.
Talked about the evening and then now they're saying more overnight, so we might get like
Yeah, that's-
National Night Out. Down at 6
Oh,
o'clock.
okay.
Yeah,
Well. Weather report isn't always accurate. I'm waiting for rain for a while.
a long while.
yeah, let it come, that's fine with me.
Yeah,
We need way more than they're projecting.
I've got cracks in the soil.
You need to twist an ankle in them.
Do what?
You can twist an ankle in them.
Oh, yeah.
It's horrible.
Fortunately, it's on the outside of the yard.
Next commission need a motion to sign National Co-Responder and Crisis Responder Week proclamation.
I make a motion to sign National Co-Responder and Crisis Responder Week proclamation.
second,
So moved and seconded to sign the National Co-Responder and Crisis Responder Week proclamation. All in favor?
Aye.
All 3 sign, please.
That is the Pawnee City logo, by the way, if you didn't see it yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we were talking about that last week.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Next one is Riley County Personnel Action Form for paramedic and EMS, Wyatt Moth, separation of service. And then I've actually got another one that's not on here, Commissioners, Michael Horstmeyer.
That's to go with that's Michelle.
Well, it's here.
Well, they have to decide whether they want to make that. It's supposed to go with the car. There's a car later for Russell Stuckey.
Yeah, well, it shouldn't, the screen sheet should be here then.
That's why it's not a motion.
So we just have the first one then.
We can just get it.
Okay. Sounds good. Just have the first one. All three signed, please. October 2nd.
You do 10.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Like John said, how to get here.
Well, pretty soon it'll be.
Don't you dare. That woke up Commissioner Ford.
Don't you dare.
Time's flying too fast for him,
Yeah, that's what happens.
unfortunately. Any changes to the minutes, commissioners?
I didn't have.
I didn't have anything either. Now I'll go ahead and make a motion then to approve the minutes as written from the September 28th meeting of the Riley County Commission.
Second.
So moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the September 28th meeting of the Board of Riley County Commissioners as written. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So last meeting in September,
Yeah.
just point that out.
How do the tentative agendas look, commissioners?
What can we do while John's gone?
Oh, don't worry. We'll talk about that later.
Well, seeing as you're not meeting on next Monday, nothing.
Oh, shoot.
But do remember, that's what it is. Do remember we're meeting on 9:30 on Thursday.
Yeah.
You do that Thursday.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Correct. It's on the tentative agenda there. Yep, that'll be odd. I'll probably be here at 8 o'clock like normal.
Yeah.
I'll forget. Any items for next week's press conference, commissioners? Okay, next you have Shelley Word at 9 o'clock. Man, gotcha,
And if they approve it.
gotcha. Remember, Commissioner said Vivian would not be here. She's
Yeah.
sick today, so we'll have a little break there.
Do we want to move anything up or are we gonna keep it as?
Are you rescheduling her time or we just need to go through?
Just, if you want to, we can. I told her that, it's in the packet, the commissioner can read it, but if you'd like it
No, it's fine.
represented at another time to add to another agenda, we can.
And it would be-
But since it was in the packet,
Not gonna be on Monday anyway.
and they're pretty good, right.
I guess it'd be hard to move other things up because of the present press conference. Oh,
Right.
yeah. Oh, we could move the proclamation. No, we can't.
It's, things that. It's not enough time to keep.
Yeah.
That was broke and share.
Or
One of Craig's grandkids just sat down, right? Yeah.
He was just sitting.
Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't acting up.
There've been people sitting there all along.
Yeah,
For some reason. Huh?
I think I might have sat in.
Yeah, I mean, there've been people sitting there also.
Was he okay? He didn't hit his head or anything. Did he?
Because he was upset. I don't think he was hurt, but he was
Well,
pretty shook
yeah,
up in there.
Scared me.
He seemed to bother me for a few minutes.
Yeah,
I felt bad.
Also the cushion, it looks like a cushion.
yeah, it just, everything came loose and just popped.
I guess we ought to have public works kind of check the chairs and screws and that kind of thing. Bolts.
Because it looked like the nails just ripped out of the bottom of it. It was weird.
Yeah, just there've been people there. When the time I've been there, there've been other people sitting there. So they said,
Oh, yeah.
Just He was right. It was what? The last chair.
Yeah, it looks,
Match all the rest of it.
Yeah.
On that chair.
yeah, it doesn't have like a cross.
Well, it's there, but it's sitting down.
It looks a little, yeah, we probably ought to pull that out of there. We got plenty of chairs in the other room. We ought to probably ought to get-
Yeah, I've watched that one too.
Yeah,
It's getting ready to do something.
I don't know how old these chairs are, so.
some of them are really leany. But that one looks like it's slipping or something, because the seat's down lower than the other.
Well, it's 9:00.
Okay.
I don't really have anything. I just want to say, I know I already mentioned Craig Cox's retirement on Friday, and it's definitely different coming into the office today and not having Craig here. He's been here for a long time. And as I mentioned previously, he'd actually helped me a lot when I was at Miami County as well. He was always really active on the listserv. Anybody who needed help, he would help. I just want to thank our admin staff up there, Jana and Shannon. They did a fantastic job putting together his party. And it was really nice to meet his family and you know, and friends. And so, and thank you to the commissioners for coming by and wishing him well. So he's definitely going to be missed. And I look forward to hopefully picking up where he left off. Do you have any questions for the counselor's office today?
Got something we'll discuss here in a second, but yeah, on the subject of Craig, I know when I came on in 19, I did the new commissioners orientation. I know you guys didn't get a chance to do it because of COVID, so it's done online or whatever, but we did it up at Topeka at the Capital City Hotel. I don't know what it's called now, but he was interim president of KAC at that particular point in time. So it's the first time I had the chance to interact with him. And then at the annual conference, which was in Las Vegas that year. So I guess I shouldn't talk too much about it because you know what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, right? So anyway, he was also there for that because he was president, obviously. So it was nice having somebody from Riley County there for the first time being there at that particular event at that particular location. So I had a chance to meet him and his wife, and then our legal counsel and deputy executive director, Jay Hall, he and his wife was there, and we had dinner one night there and had a chance to catch up. And I probably learned more about the legal comings of the county at that particular dinner than I probably had learned up until that point, and maybe even somewhat past that point. So
Tell me what you ever wanted to know.
we did. It was I think we spent about 3 hours down there, somewhere down there off of some burger place or something off of Fremont Street down there. But anyway, yeah, really enjoyed the time. Learned a lot about particularly the tax sale and everything that goes into that. And I think that was one of the things that we were probably very lacking here at the time. And he really got that up to speed and well, got that moving for us and put in a really, really good spot moving forward. And it's something we really needed to do. So, yeah, definitely be missed. Sure.
Any other questions?
So that office is pretty vacant.
It is.
I haven't been up there.
They were moving furniture out when I came down
So-
for Friday.
Yeah, so Craig came here, he had a solo practice, but he was also doing like part-time county counselor work in another county when he came here, and he brought most of his furniture with him.
Oh.
So the county didn't have to get too much for him, but he also then donated a lot of that on Friday and took some things home. And so it's pretty empty office now. I think there's one desk left in there and like one filing cabinet, maybe one other shelf, but other than what's built in, that's about it. So needs a little dusting and a little, as it does when you move those kinds of things. But it's different. It's quiet up there today.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Yeah.
Next, commissioners, you have a press conference,
Work.
9:30. Got a bit of a break.
Okay.
Hey, what's the current salary? Position. What was that? Thank you, ma'am. Bye. So how you been? You keeping busy?
Yeah, sure. How about yourself?
Lots of projects going on?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, still the constant chase. You know, we got a good sized team here.
Keep drumming up new business.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
Keep everyone busy, and then who knows what winter brings as far as how much you can get done.
Yeah.
That's pretty mild, couple, so.
Right. Yeah, I mean, reading Farmer's Almanac looks like we're gonna have oil one this year.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Maybe a little wetter and a little colder than normal, so
Yeah.
we'll see. I think they're about as accurate as anyone, but they miss it too.
I know. No one truly has it.
But I always watch Farmer's Almanac, because they do seem to be about as accurate as anything.
Yeah, if anything, I mean, just as far as the whole season in general, that's what I appreciate is just knowing you understand. So it's,
We'll see.
yeah.
Yeah, we need more push for that now, that's for sure.
It's so dry out there. We've got a little place south of Speak about an hour. It's just goes around. A lot of harvest going on.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. Yeah, I'm hoping it'll mess up and hit us one of these days. Rain.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, I know, maybe your life in your own hands. Sit on the front, yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Yeah. That's too bad. I thought you'd share everything. Yeah. That's good. That's too bad. You know. Yeah. How you doing? I think already started. Good. Good weekend? Yeah. Good. Looking at rain tomorrow. Oh, yeah. To tell you that it's a cold week. Yeah, so yeah. It's dry. It's still hot. It's cool. Yeah, I hope today's the last hot day. Not a hot weather fan. When's that cool front supposed to get here?
I don't know.
Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah. First, it was supposed to be a little bit earlier tomorrow, and now they're saying maybe overnight tomorrow. So I don't.
Oh, really?
know.
Hadn't looked at that.
Last Saturday, during the K-State game, we were supposed to have a cold front that came in and it didn't actually ever came at all.
I recruited Craig as a poll worker.
We heard.
Yeah, he's. When you got in trouble, I can't do it this year.
Yeah, I knew they had something, but we'll need the large volume next year. His wife used to help on the review boards, but her back's been bothering her. She can't sit for that long anymore. So his wife had helped us for years.
It's on 4th Street. It's just north of the points.
And that's something we need to do. Everyone that attends a commission meeting, they're required to be a poll worker. Be good. No, Ryan got it. She got nose goes first.
You're a poll worker.
You're a
You didn't
poll
know it,
worker.
but you are now.
Sorry, I didn't read some notes here.
I think outside of the box on this for next year.
We send out summons like the court does for.
That's not a bad idea either. That's not a bad idea neither.
You know what you should do? You should reach out to some local businesses and see if they will give some of their people a day off, maybe paid,
Mm-hmm.
to actually do just that.
Dan was wondering,
Mhm.
can she sign that?
Mhm.
You'd file on,
Mhm.
can she not do it on the year's on the ballot or something?
She can do it when you're on the ballot.
Really?
Yep,
You're
had,
thinking about doing it, at least, no, I probably can't.
had, trying to think of his wife's name,
Vicky,
Lou Newsom, did it when Bob Newsom was county commissioner.
Didn't Vicky do it?
Vicky,
When Marvin was on the ballot?
yeah, yeah, that as well.
Because they usually don't work their home precinct anyway, don't they? Don't they go someplace else?
Well, and it's not necessarily at home, but like county commissioner, I mean, you know, Lou worked Pot Orf and Bob was on Pot Orf ballot, so yeah. Nothing against the law on it. We checked all that out.
especially the way people are hollering these days, when they make sure.
Oh, there's no doubt you'll hear something, more than likely hear something about it. You know that you don't have to give people a reason to holler and they'll still holler.
Yeah.
That's true. So Barry. Good. Bye. Oh, yeah, there's lots of hollering next year. So we're just talking about elections next year.
We're already hearing it.
You got it up. You got it up.
Yeah, for now, next year.
When you had a 3-hour hollering meeting last weekend, last week in Topeka?
Don't know, was there? Yeah, I don't watch it.
Special elections committee met last week in
Oh,
Topeka.
yeah.
I just heard a brief summary about
Oh,
it.
really? Got pretty harmonious? Really? What were the big issue?
Security, ballots. I bookmarked the article.
Right, voting systems.
Yeah.
Yeah, typical.
And actually I had a chance to read the entire article.
Part of the problem was they only allowed people that they agreed with to speak.
That's how our legislature works nowadays.
The people that offered a different opinion weren't allowed to speak.
Yeah, that's how our state legislature works nowadays.
No, it's even in the national.
That's why you're giving testimony. I mean, their minds are made up before you're there.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear from anyone that actually knows what's going on.
Apparently they're working on an ouster of the House Speaker today.
I heard that. I knew it was in the brewing. I had heard anyway.
An ouster, yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
Gates and Florida was strong on that.
I don't think they have a majority, but we'll see.
I don't watch those state legislative committee meetings on elections. They just raise my blood pressure.
I don't know in the interim if they're actually on WebEx or anything, so it's just somebody's there to report on them. They might be.
Yeah, I think so, because I think I received a link or something on it.
Okay. I subscribed to them during the legislative session, but I never had it pop up otherwise, so maybe they do, maybe they don't. I have to run back to YouTube and see.
This Greg Steer, no, he's supposed to be here.
Yeah,
He's there. He's there. Yep, he's out there.
I don't see him.
He was over there.
Was he? Okay. Missed.
Oh, he went outside.
He had a phone call, I know.
Oh, I
He
missed it.
stepped out, but he was here.
He must have passed.
He may have had a work-related call. He was describing some vehicle in some location, so. just have to jump to the proclamation. So it's like
No,
Gina's not here. Oh, there's Greg. There's Greg.
Gina's expert. She usually comes the last minute. Gina.
When she showed like 50, they're waiting on one person who's just about to arrive, so. Maybe stall just a bit.
Using your stall tactic.
Yeah. Apparently they went to the city commission.
Oh,
It's not till tomorrow.
Yeah.
probably kind of empty there.
How's your wedding go?
Good, it's
Son's
done.
wedding.
It's done.
Dad, huh?
Last one.
Well, you had decent weather to be outside.
A little
A
hot.
little
A
hot.
little hot for
But no.
me and my son. He's just like me. He can't stand hot weather neither, but you know, it cools off a little faster in the evening, so that's always good. But
There we go.
Oh, goodness. You have a whole group coming.
No,
Just one.
groups there.
a couple different groups.
Yeah.
Yeah, not sitting down.
I think this is some good spot for you to do.
No, I think that's what we're doing.
This press conference. We have a
Greg,
conference first.
you know, we have the RCPD update first.
Okay.
And then we'll get the proclamations later.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I just have a couple items I was gonna mention. Obviously, this is the big thing that we're here for. Law board meeting, obviously this month's gonna be in the county, and this next one's gonna be at the range. I forget the date, that's a couple of Mondays away. 16th, thank you very much. Just want to give a reminder on that. And then the big thing I wanted to talk about was tomorrow night, we have community night out occurring at City Park. This is in past years has been called the National Night Out, but we kind of rebranded it this year. Very excited about it. It's gonna be from 5 to 8 p.m. at the We Fall Pavilion. It's a really great opportunity for us to showcase some of our teams and people and specialty equipment that we have. The barbecue team's going to be there. We're going to do a free community meal. It's kind of a casual come and go from 5 to 8. So anytime you want to stop by, we'll have some food for you, and you can meet some of our folks and tour and see some of our equipment and teams that we have. This is very important to us to try to do as much as we can to foster those community relations. And I think this is a great opportunity for anyone who might be interested in coming to see some of our stuff and meet and talk to us. Barbecue team is going to be pulled pork. So it's going to be a really good event, good food, and we encourage and hope that we get a good turnout tomorrow night. And that is all I have. Any questions?
Follow-up meetings at the firing range.
Firing range on Seandale Road. Yep, just off. So excited to come out there and certainly invite the public to come and see that facility, which has been tremendous for us.
And so what, third Monday?
Yep, 16.
Okay, third Monday. At noon, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, the proclamations. First one is the mental health and construction. We have 3 today, so. So. Okay. Whereas the Associated General Contractors of Kansas, the Chamber of Commerce for the Kansas construction industry, the construction companies of Manhattan area, finding mental health and Katie Way, representing Kansas commercial, industrial, residential, and utility construction contractors and their employees. Whereas AGC of Kansas and its partners have created Kansas Construction Safety Network that has engaged the following private public partners. Kansas Occupational Safety and Health Administration, that's the OSHA. Kansas Mental Health Association, Pawnee Mental Health, and Katie's Way. Whereas the Kansas Construction Safety Network has created a website, ksconstructionsafetynetwork.com, that provides resources associated with drug abuse and mental health and is accessible by the general public and the business community. Whereas the Kansas construction industry is proud to work in partnership with the above public agencies in bringing attention to critical challenges associated with mental health in the community. Therefore, in the county of Riley, Kansas, we invite all residents of Riley County and the surrounding area to join the construction industry as we bring recognition to mental health in the construction industry and proclaim Wednesday, October 18th as Mental Health in Construction Day. In witness whereof, we have heretofore set our hands and caused the seal of the county of Riley to be affixed the second day of October 2023. Speak for you. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, commissioners, for approving this proclamation. My name is Brian Fedler with the County Board of Construction, and I'm here to state about the proclamation and the why. So the Associated General Contractors of Kansas and its partners have created the Kansas Construction Safety Network to help promote mental health in the construction industry. We have partnered up with 7 to 8, 9 local Manhattan firms across the region to work together. It's not just about one company, but it's about all of us to keep the construction workers safe and healthy, I guess. So the Kansas Construction Safety Network, their mission is to provide resources to construction industry through safety education, training, and incident prevention outreach. The group consists of industry professionals committed to sharing their expertise to positively impact all construction workers. Starting to work on this and help out as much as I could. And we've got a wonderful planning committee for this event. It's scary and staggering to know the amount of suicides that occur on an annual basis across our profession. The purpose of this event is to bring awareness and to promote mental health in construction. The AGC of Kansas is looking to expand this awareness by bringing an event to Manhattan. And we're hoping to foster that and include various construction companies, trades, and mental health companies. Again, the event is on October 18th from 11 to 12. I invite all of you and anybody. It's going to be in the Shamrock Zone at Bill Snyder Family Stadium. And we have both representatives from Katie's Way and Pawnee Mental Health. They're going to help deliver the message. And the last couple of comments I'll have here is, the construction laborers are at a greater risk of suicide than any other professions, according to the CDC. The rate of suicide among male construction workers is 4 times higher than that of the general population. And this event is the first of hopefully many where several representatives from local construction companies work together to continue to raise this awareness and maybe just reach for one person that's needing help, that is mission accomplished. So thank you again for the time. Thank you again for this proclamation. Hope to see you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Do you want a picture or?
Yeah, I love it.
Okay. You want one with, yeah.
Yeah.
Have somebody taking that. Yeah, we do have somebody.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll try to make it, but I'm going to be working myself that day. So I'll just get out there.
Okay, our next proclamation is for the Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Okay. Whereas domestic violence is a widespread public health problem impacting all demographics, communities in Raleigh County, Kansas. And whereas perpetrators of domestic violence use illegal and illegal behaviors and tactics that undermine the victim's sense of self, free will, and safety. And whereas domestic violence can have profound lifelong impacts on victims' health, opportunity, and well-being. And whereas 1 in 4 women and 1 in 10 men in the United States have experienced sexual violence, physical violence, or stalking by an intimate partner. And the Kansas Bureau of Investigation reports 1 domestic violence murder occurs every 11 days, 9 hours, and 45 minutes in Kansas. And whereas across the United States, many leaders and organizations have displayed their commitment to ending domestic violence, we must devote ourselves to protect vulnerable and at-risk members of our community. And whereas we remind victims of domestic violence that they are not alone and that free and confidential services are available by calling the Crisis Center Inc. 24/7 hotline at 1-800-727-2785 or the Kansas Crisis Hotline at 1-888-363-2287. Now, therefore, we, the Board of County Commissioners of Raleigh County, Kansas, do hereby proclaim October 2023 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Raleigh County, Kansas, and we urge all citizens to become more aware of domestic violence and the services available for victims. In witness whereof, we have heretofore set our hands and caused the seal of Raleigh County, Kansas to be affixed the 2nd day of October 2023. Sure.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, commissioners, for taking the time this morning to declare October 2023 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I think when my name is Kathy Ray, I'm the executive director of the Crisis Center. We serve Raleigh County with free and confidential services 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. Anytime, day or night, somebody needs us, we're there. I think it's easy to hear those statistics, 1 in 4 women and 1 in 10 men, and still think, oh, it doesn't happen here in Raleigh County. But certainly it does. Domestic violence is one of those things that we may not always hear about, abuse and violence happening in the home. But I want to share with you just a little bit of the statistics of what the Crisis Center served last year. So last year we answered 2,832 calls on our 24/7 crisis hotlines. That was an increase of 742 calls from the year prior. We responded to 1,128 domestic violence law enforcement calls, and between 600 and 700 of those are with the Raleigh County Police Department. And then also in our confidential safe shelter, which is located in Raleigh County, we provided 5,800 bed nights in our safe shelter. And that's a place where people can come to escape abuse and violence in their own home and stay as long as they're needed while they work on rebuilding their lives. We have a lot of partners in this work. October is certainly the month where we talk about domestic violence. We seek to raise awareness. Our partners, thank you, Mr. Wilkerson, the Raleigh County Attorney, for making it here this morning with us, but we certainly partner with the Raleigh County Police Department, County Mental Health, Via Christi, all of the partners you think who might respond to domestic violence. We certainly partner in those efforts. We do have a couple of events this month that we would like to invite you to. I have some packets that I'll leave here with everything that's going on, as well as Purple Ribbon. Purple just happens to be the Domestic Violence Awareness Month color, which works great for this community. We will have a silent witness ceremony. That'll be on October 11th, right in Riley County Courthouse Plaza from noon to 1 over the lunch hour. The silent witnesses are life-size silhouettes of community members who have lost their lives to domestic violence. So that is our opportunity to remember the true ultimate impact of this violence on our community. And then we also will have Purple Thursday, which is a national day of awareness. It's a day to wear your purple, post a selfie, do all kinds of things to get involved. And that is going to be on October 19th. So we hope that you will join us for one or all of the events that are here in these packets that we'll leave with you. I would like to just see if Mr. Wilkerson would like to say anything around Domestic Violence Awareness Month and the importance.
I would just add a few words. The effects of domestic violence are devastating. I've been a prosecutor for 33 years, prosecuted misdemeanor domestic batteries up to the capital murder case we had here was domestic related and everything in between, sexual assaults, aggravated batteries that occur within the domestic violence umbrella. There's the immediate impact on the victim that we may or may not be aware of. Victims who cannot perform tasks, who cannot safely go about living their lives. And then there's also the impacts that are on our children that may not be as well known, but we do know that children that witness domestic violence in the home, they're not going to perform well in school. They are going to have difficulty in peer relationships in the short term. In the long term, those children are going to grow up to be either perpetrators or victims statistically, and they're certainly more likely to use alcohol and drugs to self-medicate from things that they've either witnessed or experienced in their childhood. So domestic violence has just devastating impacts within our community, and would ask anybody, if you are aware of a situation and the victim has not reported it, that you do everything you can to encourage the victim to seek services through the crisis center and to report it to the Riley County Police Department and if necessary to our office. But certainly it has devastating consequences, both short term and long term, in our community. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Oh, it's stand. Wait a minute. Okay. Thank you so much.
Day of proclamations.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Okay, we have another proclamation this morning. It's the National Co-Responder and Crisis Responder Week proclamation. Did you know you read? No. All right, so we're all gathered around it. Okay. Whereas Riley County, Kansas has continued to address the rising demand for mental health and substance use services. And whereas mental health and substance use challenges can lead to homelessness, incarceration, and emergency room visits, which are more intrusive and costly for communities than earlier interventions and connections to behavioral health services. And whereas Riley County, Kansas has recognized the need for additional resources for individuals experiencing mental health crises and identified co-responders and mobile crisis teams as an emerging effective practice. And whereas Riley County's co-responder program was established in 2017 to embed mental health clinicians with law enforcement agencies to respond collaboratively to individuals in crisis, provide the right intervention at the right time to avoid arrests, emergency room visits, and repeat 911 calls by connecting to appropriate resources. And whereas Riley County Mobile Crisis Response Team includes mental health clinicians and crisis care managers that provide screenings, assessments, and connections to resources like counseling, medication, housing, and other basic necessities, further reducing the need for unnecessary first responder interactions and hospitalizations. And therefore, in recognition of their service to our community, the Raleigh County Board of County Commissioners do hereby proclaim the week of September 18th as National Co-Responder and Crisis Responder Week in Raleigh County, Kansas.
Thank you. So I do just want to thank the Raleigh County Commission for making this proclamation. The co-responder program in Raleigh County was founded in 2017, and it was funded by an Edward Burney Memorial Justice Assistance Grant, which was written by Raleigh County Police Department. Brad Schoen was the director of the police department at that time. And I think the fact that we are now in the 7th year and are approaching our 8th year, and that we have had 3 directors of the police department in that course of time demonstrates the value and the importance of this program and the commitment of this program by our leadership. So, who wants to do this?
So just thank you all very much for acknowledging this. This is something like everything else that's mental health related to our community that is extremely important. And the good news is Tiffany and Point Mental Health, they're affecting lives in ways that we can't show statistics on. And that's the thing that we always have to remember, because as was mentioned before, by affecting lives in a positive way for people within our community, makes our community stronger. And so I'm extremely grateful for Tiffany, for Pawnee, and that I will say that it's not an easy job. So thank you all very much for this microphone.
Okay, would you all like a picture together?
I
don't know, do these.
all of this.
All of those, we're not, these. Okay.
We'll make it work. I was about to go front to front.
No, go ahead, you got it. I'll break the camera. Let's scoot inside.
Yes.
How you doing?
We might need to tighten in here a little bit, or are we good, or?
Can we push the chair out?
Oh, man, your hand.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Got 2 of them going there at once. That's talent.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right on cue. Yeah, that's impressive. That's Russ. They know I can't because he's right there. Oh, he's there. Yeah, that's story. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, everybody. All right.
That's gotta be a record proclamation.
Four photo ops.
Yeah, Russell, you get 10.
No, once I get it.
Right.
That'd be twenty this. Good morning. How are you guys?
Good, something.
And it is. Pretty good. I was like this. I wouldn't have guessed that. I usually sit here and improve. Yeah. I guess good in years.
Bless you.
It is smart.
I've been getting so stuffed up.
Like I said, whether if you zoom in for that.
I didn't thought about it. Try it.
Bless you.
No, it's not- it's anywhere to zoom in.
Yeah, that's the office. Sometimes I'll sneeze like 10 times in a row. They'll turn around, you okay? I just get through some sneezing
Yeah.
fits sometimes, so I can't stop.
They're really strange. This weekend, every time I go in my bathroom, so sneezing, there was nothing different about the bathroom.
I got tested for allergies years ago. You go in and you get poked like 100 times. I'm allergic to everything. You name any tree, I'm allergic to it. Any bug, I'm allergic to. It's like, well, I'm up a creek because I'm not stopping being an outdoors person.
Yeah. Well, you could take the shots.
Huh?
You could take the shots.
Did that years ago,
Yeah,
and it helped.
you know, it's pain.
Well, the clonings came around.
I may have to get some more of that, yeah,
That's what I'm getting that in my house. Eyes this year.
yeah, okay.
I'm gonna get stuffed up in the evenings around dinner time, and you know what it's like to try and eat and not be able to breathe through your nose.
Oh. Nothing tastes right.
Commissioner, also speaking, emergency management county fire. The first thing on today was a classification change. So, as I've talked to you previously, and as you recall, our previous administrative assistant had a different job title, and it was a unique job title to the county. And when that position became open a year ago, we looked at it and we had reduced the responsibilities of that down for several different reasons. And when we hired in to replace that position, we did it as an admin one. We thought that would fit. As I've had a year to reflect on that and look at what we really need that position to do, we need those responsibilities that we had taken away from that position for multiple reasons over the previous year or two. We really need that position to do those positions so that the other admin positions, the two deputy chiefs and myself and Lori, can focus more on our primary responsibilities other than doing those added on responsibilities that we've kind of taken away from that position. And so that's the primary reason for wanting to reclassify this. I've talked to Brittany in finance and Elizabeth extensively. And we looked at other admin 2 positions throughout the county, and the job description that we came up with, fits that admin 2 more appropriately, I think. As I said, in correspondence and in here, the grant writing and the hiring manager, although HR does a great job, the volunteer firefighters are unique and scheduling unique. We don't want to have them have to take vacation time to apply for a volunteer job. And so I think by having our administrative assistant work closely with HR and be our hiring manager, we can better facilitate volunteer recruitment hiring. And then I think the grant writing is something that could be very fruitful for us. And actually I have an example of that later where the current admin assistant helped me with a grant that we were at least partially successful. And so those are the 2 big ones, and there's multiple others throughout the job description. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, would you would eliminate the admin 1 job then and just have the admin 2?
We would not be adding new positions, just reclassifying and promoting the current admin 1 to admin 2.
Okay.
So does the person in the current position, are they capable of doing both?
Very much so. Yeah, I don't know, doing both isn't, but just taking on the added responsibility.
Doing all about those responsibilities.
This would be one position that he'll reclassify. He's asking you to reclassify into a completely different position. And with that, if approved, that person will transition to that position.
Right.
Well, that's not what I'm asking.
Okay.
Can they write grants?
Yes.
Now, this person has the skill set for this. The person in the position has the skill set for this administrative chief position. I have reservations about the position, but not about the person. This person is.
I have reservations about both myself, but I wanted to start with the individual
For
first.
the administrative 1 position, the person that's in it is overqualified. She's get on the skill set for this.
And this is something that you've been absorbing in your budget.
Yes, we won't be asking for any additional funds.
What about moving forward? I mean, we've been talking about next year's, but I mean, this is a pretty large increase between the two positions.
I think $5,000.
13% for next year.
I didn't do the percentage, but I knew it was over 10%.
Mhm.
So you can absorb that 10% someplace else.
Yes. And like typically we carry over, we budget to carry over 30,000 in capital outlay funds. And the past years, we've been able to do about 70-some thousand in capital outlay. And so typically, we over budget in the stipend, for those years when we have really big cross fire years, the stipend and very.
I would rather you not do it there. I'd rather you actually do it within the personnel side of it.
Mhm.
Because that's what we're talking about here.
Well, the stipends are the personnel side.
But it is, but I'd rather keep that for separate reasons. You do it actually on the personnel side.
But you would be just decreasing the budget by how much if you don't have the other position? Or does that matter?
No,
You're adding 13%.
13.
just on that one position,
Just
not
on-
across all positions, which is approximately 5,000.
I mean, for me, I like the idea of taking the position, adding new duties to it, but at some point in time, you also need to be reducing the scope. So you're also adding 13. I didn't know what the percentage was, so thanks for that. But adding to it doesn't really do us any good in the long term, whether it's in the fire district or the actual county budget itself at this particular point in time. So,
Well, one example I have is we put in for 2 grants. The governor had a grant program, the LSSC, and I'm drawing a blank with that stuff for now. Local safety and security enhancements, I think is what it's called. And I did one by myself. And that one was a little bit of a reach and it got denied. But the current admin one helped me with the other one. We were successful with that. We asked for 50,000, we got 17,000. And so even if we could just get $1,000 a year, it would more than pay for itself.
Something.
It's just on these things, no matter what department it is, I think the commission needs to think is it how it may impact the county operations overall within all departments. I mean, HR's tasked with making sure that positions are comparable throughout the organization. And I think based on the revised description or added that may potentially do that, I think HR has some concerns about volume of work in this department if it's necessary and needed. But just because someone has the qualifications, we don't adjust pay just for someone's qualifications. We generally do when we hire them, but the position was just looked at a year ago by the same personnel. This department has received more personnel positions percentage wise than any in the last 5 years to spread the workload. It's a large increase, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, we all have people in our office we don't want to lose.
Right.
I believe this was brought up after this employee applied for another position and the department head said, I don't want to lose this person. I'm sorry, but we just can't afford for the taxpayers to give raises to every individual we don't want to lose. If that's the case, I've got some others as well. Those are just potential impacts that commissioners need to think about. And as department heads and leaders, we should think about. It has more than impacts than just on this department. This employee is a very good employee. This isn't about the employee. It's about what we need in this position. We've had decades ago, valuable employee, someone thought, that wanted to keep their pay and go to a lesser position because of the person's qualification. They're well overqualified. The commission said, no, you get paid based on the position. If you take a position. John Ellerman would have probably loved to have come to the commission about Shannon that went up to the county counselor's office because Shannon was next in line to replace Julie Winter. These are just all things that once you do things like this, it has impacts on others. John Ellerman would probably say, well, I wished I'd have known I could have done that. I'd have kept Shannon and made my transition when Julie retires here fairly soon easier. It just has more impacts than just on this department. I don't think the commissioners or the taxpayers want any of us to spend money just because we have it available in our budgets.
Well, but I think we do need to have flexibility. You know, if we have a good employee, it's important to promote them. And unfortunately, it didn't come up before our budget was over. But I mean, every department head has the ability to come in and talk to us about a person, and you know.
And so what I would say to that, commissioners, is a year ago, we reduced this position because we didn't know we had been suffering, for lack of a better term, with low performance, and we had to take responsibilities away and put those responsibilities. And so we lowered it considerably from what it was before.
So,
And we recognize that that's a mistake. So by not allowing us to move it back, then that is just going to emphasize, don't ever let anything go lower, because you're never going to get it back. So we voluntarily lowered the position and looked at it for a year. And now we realize we need it back to where it was. And that's all we're asking for, is to put it back to where it was a year ago.
It was a
so did you lower the position because of the person you hired in the position, or you lowered it because of the actual position? Because there's two different tangibles there.
Because we were working at it at this level, because we'd spread the work to some other employees that we'd taken some responsibilities for. And now those other employees' work is starting to suffer because they have taken on those extra jobs that this position should be doing.
If you lowered the qualification, lowered it before you hired someone, right?
Correct.
It's, you lowered it when you set out, whatever it is.
Yeah.
To hire it, set up to hire, you lowered what was really required down to what was being used at that time.
Right. And I recognize that was a mistake. We should have never lowered it.
Commissioner Elizabeth Moore, Human Resources Director, and in my opinion, my advice is that really is the question of, so whether or not this department needs this level of administrative work. And that's where that's where my reservation, and Russell's aware of that, that's where my reservation comes in. Everything he's saying historically is accurate and was a way for us to kind of revamp the department and make sure we were getting the things done that we needed to get done. Russell, over the last 4 years-ish, what is it, three and a half, and basically we came on, he's restructured the whole department. And so that one of the things was that position was not being effective. It really was not. And there were the human resources part, we pulled that back. That wasn't being done well. He pulled out some of the administrative duties. He gave them the deputies, but he got those 2 deputy positions. We made 3 positions and then revamped this administrative position. My thought is that if the department has this level of administrative need and you feel that that is justified, then this position makes sense. I would compare it to some of the other administrative 2 positions we have in Riley County. So like the appraisers has administrative 2. And the volume of work that I see is much larger for that department. But if Russell's going to add on things that are not getting done and you feel that that part is justified, to me, that's the question. The person in the position, qualified, more than qualified for administrative 2, education, experience, professionalism, ability, honestly, no doubt there. And the job wasn't changed because of that person. It was changed because the things were not being effectively done in that. So really, it's whether or not you feel justified that this department needs a higher level of administrative support, in my opinion.
Well, in terms of the hiring manager part of things, I mean, we've made some changes in your actual department in terms of placing somebody in payroll to offset that, to better allocate those services in hiring manager. So why do we need to up that in yours when we've already basically done that there? I mean, you should be able to facilitate better what their needs are there at this point in time with that, what's basically that extra, even though it's not an extra person tech.
Right. Well, respectively, I think the things that Russell and really the fire department needs as far as employee management, as far as their hiring management, are really separate from payroll. They have this group of 150 employee volunteers. They're all FLSA. need like odd hours and different things, and we're working on how can they get drug tests at odd hours, how can they get their onboarding orientation. The previous person in this position did do a lot of this. We did not have oversight and did not do it well. So I think his proposal, and really honestly, we haven't hashed out with the other department head how that would work and how that would look. But his proposal would be that person would be an extension of HR specifically for those 150 volunteers. But it's not, they're not really having a payroll issue, they're having a really an onboarding and administration issue.
That's not exactly where I was going.
But she'd still be working with you. I mean, she would be their first contact instead of you, and you'd still have oversight. As HR, is that?
That would, so again, we haven't really, I mean, the department head oversees that, hasn't been involved in this conversation, so we have to hash out the details, but my understanding of Russell's proposal would be she would basically work as an extension, and we would still manage all of the compliance. She would just be doing it. So we train her on how to do the I-9s, we train her on how to do those onboarding requirements, and she would do them with the employee, the volunteer, but it would still be housed in HR, and which is a model that other organizations do use. They have embedded HR contacts in different departments, and it's not unusual per se, but we haven't hashed all that out.
Because their numbers, I mean, I realize they're all part-time, whatever it is, the numbers there are, large.
Yes, and that's true. And they have have their own FLSA category for volunteer fire. So we try to keep up to date on that. So it's just a little different, but we're thinking between 130 and 150. So that's one task.
So did you say the previous person in the position did that already? That was their responsibility.
It was, yes.
It was my point is, once again, it's not the person. It was in the job description before. And of any potential impacts changed on how things workflow from HR and what we're doing differently. I've had no conversation with anyone.
Right. And then the previous person was responsible to do that, but was we had to change. Yeah, we had to change the whole process. It was not being done in compliance.
So Elizabeth, will this lighten up your load and not lighten it up, but change your focus in HR? You'll be able to spend more time on other things rather than overseeing this part?
Well, that's a good question that I don't know that I have an answer to. Okay. I mean, again, I don't really know how it would work and whether it would work.
Sounds like to me we don't know enough about what we're doing here to maybe be doing this just yet.
Well, I mean, I don't think we have a how on that. I would agree we don't have a how or even the other department. I mean, you can't really make a change in HR without the person who oversees it being involved. And so that I don't have hashed out.
And I don't even think you and Russell have it hashed out.
No. I mean, I can't move forward to make those changes until we involve both department heads and make sure that it's even, but it's kind of a circle, right? If that's not something you guys want to do.
Yeah.
So, it does come back.
Chicken or the egg.
Yeah. So, and I don't know. I apologize for not having that answer, but I just don't know.
Well, it's kind of an abstract question, of course, but it should give you a little bit more leeway in your department if you have someone there doing work that you would otherwise have to oversee. But,
it sounds like to me you're going to have to oversee it at the end anyway, so there's no change.
But they always have to follow them. Right? We have to follow the FLSA and we follow the MLA and all everything with them. So they're going to still have to follow that. I think Russell's idea, and correct me if I'm wrong, would be that she'd be like the administrative person on that. She'd be getting things done with the volunteer under our system.
To onboard a volunteer, I would say on average it takes a minimum of 6 and if not a dozen different phone calls and contacts between the pre-employment screenings, the drug screenings, the HR does the background check, but the 2 different online tests we have them do, and coordination of appointments and when do they work and when do they get off work, and 8 to 5 Monday through Friday doesn't work for the typical person to come in to apply to be a volunteer. It's different when somebody's applying to get a new job, they're going to get paid for. Yeah, they probably need to take a little vacation time or whatever to come in to try and get that new job. But I don't want to put that burden on somebody that wants to volunteer for us. I want them to say we have people that take vacation time to go fight fires from their full-time job. I want them to say those vacation hours for
something else, not the hiring process.
Well, is this person gonna be working late hours then? Like I say, it's
They could work flexible hours as far as they may stay till 6 one night and to accommodate a volunteer and then, you know, just either come in late the next morning or whatever. So they would have varied hours. Their normal hours would be 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, with the exceptions here and there. And again, I'm just asking to put it back to basically where it was before. You know, we reduced it voluntarily, save the county some money. Again, like I said in here, I misjudged. Obviously I should have left it up high before, and not made the change.
So it wasn't admin 2 before?
It was a unique software specialist or some sort of designation.
Was it a job that they had created specifically for that position?
Which was the same level as an admin 1 or an admin 2?
It was higher. It was actually higher than an admin 2.
Yeah, so I'm actually not asking to even put it back clear to where it was a year ago.
And all the thing you talked about contacting the volunteers, though, that's what the previous person was expected to do. If, once again, this isn't about whether the person could do it or this one's better at it.
Yeah.
It's that the job description was the same on that part of it.
Oh, you would never, probably, you aren't going to go back in case this person leaves. You're not going to go back to the admin 1, then you're going to keep it at admin
Correct.
2. Yeah, I would think that would be the better way to go, you know. I do think we need to be somewhat flexible with this, as you know, as that department's really trying to save money in a lot of different ways.
well, I'd say it's not back close to what it was, but it sounds like there's still some of that HR issue. Maybe we need to clarify it first.
Sounds like to
I
me-
don't have a problem with. I don't have a problem with it. But just making sure it's, you know, it sounds like there's still some questions how that's going to coordinate, and just clarify those. Would be my thoughts.
Yeah. So you want to table it till then come back to with some more detail
Just,
on it?
yeah, just to. It sounds like he, you know, like I say, I understand. I mean, I agree with the idea of doing it, but it sounds like there's still some questions about how the HR thing's going to work. Just clarify that is how they're going to work, and try again, you know, in a week or two, whatever it takes to clarify that.
Yeah.
And I want to know that that 10 or 13% or whatever it is going to transition back to the budget, both the rest of this year and moving forward. That's not going to be an increase. Okay. So we'll table it for now until those questions are answered.
Make a motion for that.
Yeah, I'm going to make a motion that we table the discussion on a change, on a reclassification to administrative 2 in the Riley County Fire District number 1.
I'll second.
So moved and seconded to table the classification for the Raleigh County Fire, or for the fire department. All in favor? Emergency management. I'm sorry. Emergency management, RCFD. Yeah, all right. All in favor?
Aye.
What's wrong?
Well, which one is it? We need to make sure.
Well, it says on here that the department, emergency management.
It works in both areas,
RCFD.
right? Emergency management and rural fire.
She works specifically for fire.
That's what I thought.
She
Okay.
works specifically for fire at this time.
Okay, because it says that.
Yeah, it says emergency management.
Emergency management / RCFD number
Well,
1.
emergency management is under Riley County. Fire district is its own entity. That needs to be clarified.
So, okay, yeah, I was just reading off the job
Yeah,
description.
yeah, that's what it said.
It does say emergency management in here.
It is one, it's confusing because it is one department, but it's one department here, but I'll change the numbers.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
all righty. All in favor?
Aye.
I know I'm over my time. Do you have any questions on the staff time report?
Better get a chance.
I don't, but
Have we had any fire issues? I mean, it feels like April instead of October, even though it is October.
Yeah, we've had some fires. I mean, you can see on hear
Yeah.
what we've had. I know we have an ongoing arson investigation with PD that's relatively new.
Well, I was talking more along the lines of grass or outdoor.
For as dry as it is, not too bad. Of course, we've had no burning on for most of the month, so.
Let's hope.
Have you had any violations of that, burning?
No,
That's good.
it's not that it's been, if we have, I haven't even brought to my attention.
I just got a large number in all of it, is that. It's a call, and all, is that usually, I didn't understand that.
They're our busiest station all the time.
I shouldn't remember.
The majority of those are medicals.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay.
That's the one station where we have, pretty reliably almost always have somebody go on a medical call. A lot of our other stations, we don't have anybody.
Oh, you don't have to qualify, you don't
I
have.
don't have an EMT or anybody to go on a medical call, reliably.
Okay.
So I think, the rough number is district wide, we only actually have qualified people to go about 40% of the medical calls. About 60% of them, we just don't have.
Don't have anybody in that area.
we've had 3 fatality accidents out there and a couple of them outside of that.
That's true, they had all this.
Yeah.
Mhm. That's right. I forgot about those.
Any other questions?
Thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Time for Jacob and the 2022 Riley County financial statement audit presentation.
Once again, it's that time of the year.
Say October.
Yeah.
Previous guy left report.
Oh, goodness, it's getting better.
Thanks, sir.
Just to give you a minute to read it.
Yeah.
So 80 people.
I skipped over online.
Like, the whole thing would pass.
Yeah, I was looking over anything, big discrepancies there.
Of course, I didn't have anything else to read over the weekend. Just so you know, you're right.
Thank you.
Goodbye, week till Day.
This isn't more interesting than football.
Yeah,
Of
of course.
Nothing's more interesting than things. Come on. Even with celebrities, and the stands.
That's
yeah,
different.
We're talking about.
Once you-
I was good. Try it.
It's so pretty. Watch it.
Yeah, I heard some things on that end, by the way.
I kinda
On what? Lion?
Yeah.
who you're a big fan of.
My name is Jacob. We are an audit partner over at James Gordon Associates. Today I'm going to present the 2022 audit as well as our required communication letter. The first thing I'll go over is the communication letter, and that's the stapled 70-page letter. So this is part of our, every year or every audit we have a required communication letter. I would kind of skim over the important parts for you guys. The 2 important parts for you guys to understand is that we had no difficulties with staff or getting information on a timely basis on the audit. And then the other thing on the back, you'll see about 5 pages. Those are our journal entries that were made during the audit. The good news is that those journal entries are all provided by the county. And it's just us reporting either accounts payable or encumbrances, just because of how your guys' software system works. So other than that, no changes in accounting standards for you guys to adopt this year. Don't really anticipate anything in the next couple of years. KMAG doesn't really do many changes to accounting standards compared to like GAAP or even governmental accounting standards. The next thing I want to go over is the actual audit report. So that'll be bound. Look. And if you go to the first page after the table of contents, about 4 pages in. this is gonna be the actual, this is the most important thing to any client, because this is the actual audit opinion. You have an adverse opinion under generally accepted accounting principles. This will always be the case as long as you guys follow KMAG. You have an unmodified opinion on the regulatory basis of accounting, which is the highest opinion that you can get under this form of accounting. In case you're wondering, the KMAG is pretty much just cash basis accounting with accounts payable and encumbrances, whereas generally accepted accounting principles have liabilities, assets, fixed assets, all those other kind of entries. The other few pages kind of go over the actual opinion. No major change in the opinion wording compared to the prior year. A few years ago, we added a couple additional paragraphs about our responsibilities, but nothing has changed compared to last year. So if you flip to page 4, this is actually your financial statement. So when what you see here is you have your beginning unencumbered cash. If you had any prior year canceled encumbrances, and then we have your receipts, expenditures, ending unencumbered cash. And then we add back in the encumbrances and accounts payable to get to your actual ending cash as of 12/31/2022. So then on page 6, you'll see the actual totals for this year. Really no major change compared to 2021. The biggest change was you guys increased your cash balance by $7 million compared to 2021. The majority of that is due to the ARPA funds. So when you go through all the receipts and expenditures, you'll notice that for the most part, everything stays the same. A few swings up and down, but the ARPA fund went up $6 million. You had receipts of $7 million, and you had expenditures of only $600,000. And most of those ARPA funds are already spoken for, but that's just to show you, you guys have a high cash balance, but the majority of ARPA funds, I believe, is already pretty much encumbered. You have till I think 2024 still to either spend them or encumber them.
I think 2026 to spend them. Yeah, 2026 to spend them, 24 to encumber.
Yeah, 20. Yeah. So the next 80 pages are going to be the notes to the financial statements, and then the actual schedules.
I'm already allergic to it.
I'm getting there too.
So I'm not going to go over those unless there's something specific that you guys want to know. And then, like usual, if you're ever looking it over, feel free to give me a call. But I do want to identify just a few items for you guys. On page 10, you'll see where you guys had the budget violation in a few funds, as well as a cash violation in a couple funds. And that's just something that can hopefully clean up this year. As it gets towards year end, if you need to amend the budget. I mean, they weren't large violations, but they were required to document them and include them in the audit.
Didn't we amend those?
You did amend.
You do, but some departments had some expenditures we weren't aware of.
I mean, if you go to the age, that thing we do towards the end of the year.
That's why typically, and we will this year, probably just any that are in potential, we just budget the full amount. That way, in case some department ends up paying something erroneously on here, or they get billed for something they weren't aware of coming.
How does that work with special districts? Because 2 of them are special districts.
Same thing, as long as they got the cash to pay it. It's just that you didn't budget to expend that.
Okay.
You had the cash to pay it, but you didn't.
Technical question.
Doesn't mean
No, you're fine.
doesn't mean they didn't have cash. We just never projected that we would spend that much. Mhm.
Okay.
And then the negative cash funds, return check funds, a weird fund. It's at negative cash. Historically, there's really not a lot you can be able to do about that one. And then on page 13 is your debt schedule. So this projects out all your current bonds and leases through 12/32, and then what their ending balance is. The next page will show you what your principal and interest payments will be until the maturity on those bonds. So you don't actually have that much debt compared to a lot of other entities your size, and even some of the cities around you guys.
Yeah, most of that's just radio project.
Yeah,
Mhm.
radio, I think it's the fire station at SCBA. And then if you go to
And that's just fire district. No, so it's not overall general taxpayers.
And if I'm not mistaken, we're getting pretty close to year number 8 on that. We could, not that we probably will, but you could refinance that. Probably not.
Now's not a good time.
It's not something we probably want to do, but you could.
you don't probably want to refinance it for the foreseeable future.
What is your projection on it, Jake?
Yeah,
Refinance their bonds.
but you have the option with the intent that it would be good to do at that point in time.
And then on page 17 is going to be your actual summary of expenditures, your actuals, and then compared to your budget. So that just kind of goes into the detail for each fund. And then, like I said, every page after this is the summary, or the schedule of each individual fund's revenues and expenses for the year. Last thing I'll talk about, if you go to page 79, that's your schedule of findings and questions tossed. So this is going over the single audit for your 2 major programs this year. Really, the only things I wanted to mention. So we did the WIC, which is kind of a fun, the grant we do generally every year, just based on the dollar amount. And then we also selected the ARPA funds to get the required coverage that we have to get in order to give an opinion on the single audit. And the good news is no material weaknesses were identified, and we are not reporting any significant deficiencies either within the financial statement or on the single audit 2 major programs. So that's always, the good news. You don't obviously want to have those in general, but you definitely want to have them when we have to put them in the audit reports. I'll open it up, see if you guys have any questions.
You have to admit, having any of those budget violations bug me.
Yeah, I don't know the lack of them either, but information in is only as good as the information out we get from departments. And so that's why I say I tend to physically written in, but just budget the full amount that they have authority for at the end of the year. Anyone that we think may potentially get there. Now that's always kind of a red flag to people. Why you're budgeting so much more than you originally did? Just gives you this authority and flexibility to avoid that situation. Doesn't mean you're going to spend it all. Just like when we do our overall budget, we never spend it all because that's what gets us our carryover. Does not increase taxes to increase your to do a budget amendment, and that's one thing we're always clear on when we have those.
So the e-card issue taken care of, but we had a couple of years ago too. So we did.
Any questions for Jacob?
No. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your work.
Thanks, Jacob. Appreciate it. Next, commissioners, it is Elizabeth Ward with the day update.
We do have a tentative agenda for each of you on the files to speak through. Good morning again, Commissioners. Elizabeth Ward, Human Resources, and I'm here representing the Training Committee, which there are several people in the committee in the audience today. The current project that we're working on is the Employee Day, which will be next Monday, October 9th. And we wanted to kind of give you an update as well as make sure that we have formally invited you to the Employee Day, that you realize, of course, that you're invited. Catherine is going to say a few words of welcome on your behalf. And I can already read John's.
No, I wasn't, so much so that I decided to go to Washington DC.
No, I know. But like I will tell the other employees, we have known about the date for a year.
Some of us.
Yeah, so you can see we have a robust agenda and we were starting about 7:45 with just a light refreshments really. And then after that, we will start in our sessions and the speakers are there. Our theme today or this year is everyone leads. And we're going to define what that means. We have one of the authors from the book from Kansas Leadership Center, Everyone Leads. And so he's going to define how that is. Leadership is a little different than authority. So we want to make sure that everyone has the perspective that they can lead in their own area of influence. We'll have lunch, we will have afternoon, and then we will do the team building activities again in the afternoon. So each of the departments, I think we've got one department that haven't turned in their activities yet. They're all looking at each other. But they are all working on it. So they'll have something going on. And if you'd like to join any of the departments for their activities, you'd be more than welcome to do so. We have some fun things planned. I did want to point out specifically to Commissioner McKinley that we will have cookies after the I did not forget.
Successful day, all.
Mr. McKinley, thank you.
Yeah, took care of it. It was our main job this year. Yeah. So any questions, please let us know. We are really excited for it. It's a really great day. We have two main speakers, and we have a really wonderful afternoon lineup as well, including someone here to speak about employee mental health. And I think it's going to be a really valuable day.
You remember, does anyone remember what year this was started?
Employee Day?
Training day.
Employee Day started in 21.
It's training day.
No, I don't actually know. It's been going for a while.
Yeah, it's been going for a long time.
Yeah, and
I heard 07.
it's just the one day this year.
Okay. I don't remember Cindy Galante saying 07. The first one was that.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, it's been a really good day for everyone, really. I mean, there's advantages for everybody gets out of it. Of course, we'll also be recognizing employees for their years of service, for their mastering years. So that'll be exciting and fun. Rachel will be doing that.
How long of a welcome do you need?
I think
30 minutes?
Yeah.
How long did you read proclamations today? Just more about that.
Yeah, okay, well, that was a little long.
Yeah. Typically it's
Proclamation. Yeah, do an employee proclamation. There you go.
well, I'm sure Vivian could write them out, but
We don't want any more whereas.
yes, yeah,
Oh.
real talk, yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, generally it's 5 or 6 minutes.
5 or 6
Just the
minutes.
sentiment of the commissioners and Commissioner McKinley did it last year, was about that one. Yeah, just, yeah.
All right,
Words of wisdom.
Yeah. That would be great.
words of wisdom,
Mhm.
okay.
So, all right, any other questions or comments?
No, it looks like a great program.
Not glad we have cookies.
Yes. We're glad we have cookies too. It'll be.
I'm in charge of that.
I know, we did. And remember, we are at AMC this year. I don't know if I mentioned it's on the agenda, but. All right. Right, right, yep. So we'll see you all there next Monday.
Okay,
Thank you, Elizabeth.
thanks.
I would like to leave that here.
Guess everybody leaving. Must mean it's kind of the
Another
meeting.
important stuff to talk about.
There more? I don't think I ever even got to the bottom of Jacob's.
Oh, no, you have to. Have to
Yeah.
do some
There's,
arrow on the size.
Yeah, it's. for
it's
real.
all audit, yeah.
Yeah, and there's nothing else.
Yeah. No, there is not.
But then I think we're okay.
Let's see. We don't have any other business on the schedule. We are starting at 9:30 on Thursday.
And I appreciate that. It gives me a chance to represent us. Oh, Elizabeth.
Oh, he didn't get away fast enough.
I didn't know if you were gonna be at the
Conway.
Yeah.
The cons away.
No, but yes, their kickoff, yes,
Yeah.
I am. Yeah, I'm excited to hear what their plans are for 20.
Okay, gonna be there too. That's why we're starting late on Thursday.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, appreciate that. Gives us a
No
chance
problem.
to represent ourselves there and see what big plans they have and how we can even do better.
Let's see how many of us remember besides you.
I'm gonna be kind of forced to at this point in time. I will say there's a couple of things going on the 18th. As we found out, we won't be able to do the city county meeting
That's
because
the one topic I had discussed with the
Okay.
commissioners, a city county meeting or city county or
yeah,
city county meeting.
It'd be county city this much.
or city county
Yeah.
USD meeting. Let's just call it
The
that.
commissioners had requested a discussion on Seco Park, invite USD 383. Contact USD 383. As John knows, there's a chamber board meeting. And so I think, John, or you go to
I
that.
am going to be going to that.
Eric at USD 383 does. They think it's important that we have that discussion with them there. They want to participate, but probably not at that meeting.
count on
Since there's going to be other city commissioners and I think maybe even USD 383 board members there. So might not be as a good meeting to discuss that.
And then I offered the following Thursday, but the following Thursday here is election training. So I don't know how we want to proceed with that particular meeting.
Just do it at the next city county meeting would be my suggestion.
I mean, we're getting kind of late.
It is the 19th. Yeah.
Well, but you're getting kind of late in this particular discussion at that point in time, and you're also you're kind of butting right up to 19th. That'd be the 20th, wouldn't it?
No, it's
No,
19th.
19th.
Of November?
October. The next one's scheduled on the 19th of October. City county.
Right.
So it'd be the 19th. So what else is going on?
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's a board retreat on the 19th.
That's why we're not having it.
Right. So you'd have to move it to November.
If you want to.
When you move it to November, then you're butting right up to Thanksgiving.
Well, why don't we, it doesn't have to be the fourth Thursday. Can't we move it to a different day?
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah,
I just think by the time you get then, you're gonna have several other conversations going on and
yeah.
I'm having one tomorrow.
yeah, I know. And there's gonna be two other steering committee meetings after that and we're clouting that at this point in time.
We need to get it done maybe by the end of this month. Sometime you're going to be when it's back.
I will be back. I will be leaving Sunday and I will be back on next Wednesday, following Wednesday, which is the 11th. I have to look up. I'm pretty much booked out until the 20th, but I mean, I could try to fit something in if we need to.
Well, what I was thinking is what about the 26th of October?
And that's what I offered, but
Yeah,
we need to find another place to do it then because we can't do it here. So,
We need a city offices.
well, that's fine. Or I thought maybe if we could do the public workshop.
maybe,
That's
and
a
yeah,
lot
public
easier
works would
there.
probably be good. Everybody.
It's a lot easier for everyone there rather than go out of town, I would say.
Okay.
We flip-flop location because of COVID. Oh, no, I'm fine.
Yeah, well, the only reason why I mentioned that is because you're the one supposed to be hosting it. So I
Well,
mean,
yeah, that's why I was thinking it'd be better in our.
when I checked with Cindy, she said they're doing training in this spot. So
We are.
if we want to do it at the city on the 26th, that's fine. If we want to do it at the public workshop, so we can host it, that's.
I'd
fine.
rather just public.
Let me know where you
I
guys
kind of
want.
would
I think
too.
would think if we host it, otherwise they take control of everything. I think.
Well, I'm not necessarily worried about control.
Well,
I'm
no,
just-
but I think it's might be better.
I just think since we're supposed to host it, we should host it.
Yeah,
Consensus on 26th?
let's try for the
Public Works?
26th.
26th.
Okay.
Public Works.
Okay.
See if everybody can show up then. Do one of those monkey polls, whatever they call them.
Survey monkey. Monkey poll.
What a survey monkey, that's what it's
Copyright. I got the copyright on that.
all better. Survey monkey, which I always didn't like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm good on that. If I'm not, I'll rearrange something. I'm pretty booked until the 20th and then it frees up from my stuff.
I have the next.
Yeah,
This
next
week,
3
next
weeks.
2 weeks, I've got weeks.
Yeah. I can show you my Google calendar and then I can show you my Black Book calendar, and I'm not so for sure there's not overlap on those two, so.
And I think the commissioners know, but I mean, there's, I'm on that, I forget what the heck the name of that committee is that I'm on now at the chamber, that now the city, county and school have representatives on at the chamber. We meet tomorrow morning and that is the topic tomorrow is, Jason, caught me after the last, intergovernmental luncheon and said, what is this? We need to get everyone together and, figure out a plan for Seco Park. And so it is a priority, I guess, on a lot of people's. I guess I'm a little surprised how invigorated the chamber is by it, but.
Well, I have had a question, maybe you can answer this, on that bond issue that the city, okay, was it specifically the Seco Park, or did it say parks in there?
It was this, it was 3 phases. They were going to do the recreation centers first, which they did. Then they could do trails and parks, and they've done some of those, or at least they had some kind of a plan, and I think it changed a little bit.
Yeah,
And then the vision was Seco.
but is it specifically does it have to be for Seco?
It was specific for Seco.
Okay, I didn't remember.
They didn't specific, I mean, my guess is when they get to the end of this, because sales tax particularly over the last 3 or 4 years has been a little bit inflated. There is some extra money there, so they may do some extra improvements there, but that's to city only. And that's the part that I think everybody gets confused about, because even I had somebody over the last week ask me about cleaning up the dog park and some other dead trees and stuff around Seco Park, and they have to be specific because some of that's ours, some of that isn't ours. And so the part that isn't ours, yeah.
Really?
There's some dead vegetation and stuff on there, and the parks department's on it. They just haven't gotten to it.
Well, it goes back to your issue earlier today. It's good. How much I need to.
Well,
Wow.
well, anyway.
Yeah, like I was saying the other day, we've got a huge park over there. Can't we get it rearranged somehow where we can all be happy?
Yeah.
I mean, where you have a little, we don't have to have.
I
it
think
here.
on our side, it comes down to, do we have the resources to do what we need to do? And is that the priority? I'm just talking internally. I'm not talking with the other
Well, we're
two.
getting pushed into it. By the way, it's our priority.
Well, no, we're not. We don't have to get pushed into anything. We don't have to get bullied into anything.
Well, we can say we're not going to do anything, but what, we're trying to maintain what we've got,
Right.
and that's it. I mean, that could be what, so going to all these meetings is.
There's
Pretty good.
no doubt that the county is in the driver's seat, and the county, before anything else moves, the county needs to decide. The commissioners need to decide
Yeah.
I'm
what
of
is
the
going to
firm
become a Seco Park, because we are by far the biggest player.
Yeah.
I'm of the firm belief too, that there are private philanthropy entities that we could probably approach to do some updating. Changes, whatever we wanted to do there, right?
There and it's power for
Right.
build around it, or we could
Add
we could
on
make
to,
the top
or,
real bigger. There's a lot of.
I would tend to think, and this is just what I see, that at least the steel shells of the barns are probably still in good shape. The roofs and the siding need to be replaced. You need to put some HVAC, or at least some electricity in there to where you could maybe do some hookups and do a few things, and maybe in the short term, something temporary, or a generator or something that you could bring some temporary things on site for events and or the fair. I mean, there's some ways to look at that to create something and modernize some things out there.
Well, there's a lot more land south.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's just,
nothing there.
Have you seen the exercise stations? Those exercise stations have been there since I've been in high school and hung out at the pool in the early 90s. They're gone.
For that.
And they're actually, if I remember right, those were actually temporarily placed, meaning you can actually pull those up anyway.
Yeah,
So
'cause some
how
of
much
those
does it
are like
cost to bring in some
pools,
dirt from someplace and fill that out and do something there? I mean, there's options.
Well, in the short run, I don't think we need to let them pave the parking lot. you know, where the horses go and the trailers go, at least until we can figure out what to do.
Well, I guess my greatest question on that one is, why do you need to pave it?
The whole thing is a nice parking lot, the way it is.
I mean, you grade it, you put some gravel on it for as much as it really gets used, the ball fields anyway get used. I mean, if you were using that 365 days a year for something, I get that, but you're really only using it from about what? Mid-May maybe to maybe August, maybe early September for maybe some kind of soccer or something, or flag football or something.
I think it's used for the head height. That's one part. It's easier than access.
Oh, coming back down on that side.
from the other.
Well, and like,
Well, we never paved the south end of it where those people go, so.
well, I go to Annenberg Park every day and, you know, Friday nights, nobody ever uses it. There's no games or anything going, maybe a little soccer.
And I guess it'd be crazy over there when they do soccer
When they
and
have
so.
all of it, there's a lot of, I mean, if they reorganized maybe where they put people, you know.
I think you could take the shelters that are down there in that southwest side and move those up closer to the playground where, from a family perspective, actually would make more sense anyway.
And there's a little parking lot down there below, you know, a gravel one that you can't get into. How do you access it?
And then in between there and the rest of that south end, you've just got kind of a little tree wooded area that doesn't serve any purpose other than just green.
We could do something there.
There's possibilities, and I don't think it's terribly expensive, although it does take some resources.
We've got good, you know, public works has a lot of resources, tearing down
And
the
I
ski
do
hill.
think when it comes to those things, you have some private philanthropic interest in those things that you could probably reach out to and
Yeah,
probably draw some interest. I mean, it's not.
but we have to make some sort of decision with this group, whether we want.
Yeah.
Now, did they specifically in that bond issue said put tennis courts in there?
It didn't say, it just said Seco Park.
It didn't say specifically what they were supposed to do.
I don't,
Find it.
What year was it?
I have to believe that was.
Would the wording of it be on our list?
That's where I'm going.
I kind of think that was somewhere, it had to be like
The tennis courts is what I've heard.
2013 to 2015 range.
17. So I didn't know. I was here, you know.
It did.
It was after.
It said facilities at Seco Park. I think your natural assumption is the facilities in Seco Park,
Well,
which would include tennis
When I
courts.
was ready, she thought specifically it said tennis court had to be redone. And I said, I don't know, but I don't think she was on the commission.
Yes, she would have just started on that.
So that's why I was kind of questioning it, like, you know, we talked a little bit about it.
Special.
I'll be honest with you, I don't remember
if it specifically said what they had.
if I even voted for or against that. I actually think I voted against that one because it wasn't real specific.
I think I did too, but
The recreation centers was pretty specific and the rest of it wasn't. I think when the road tax came up, I voted for that because that was pretty specific and that obviously made sense. I think I voted against this one because it wasn't generally specific on what they were going to do with it.
we might be.
So I'm going to say that.
Quality of life sales tax, November 7th, 2017.
17.
Okay, sit down. It's a long one. Shall the city of Manhattan, Kansas be authorized to A, impose a special 25/100% 0.25
Yeah.
city retailer sales tax, quality of life sales tax pursuant to the authority of KSA 12187 to pay the cost and construction of two approximately 34,000 square foot, 30 to 40,000 square foot multi-purpose gymnasium, neighborhood centers, parking facilities, access roads adjacent to Anthony and Eisenhower middle schools. Excuse me, upon land owned by Unified School District 383 and the cost of renovation of ball fields and tennis courts within Seco Park, including but not necessarily limited to the creation of multi-purpose softball and baseball fields and synthetic turf play areas and establishment of a 12-court tennis layout along with all other necessary improvements, equipments, and furnishings
Specific says 12, yeah.
appertinent thereto, and the cost and acquisition of necessary right-of-way for the design and construction of new recreational trails and improvements, existing recreational trails, and all other improvements appertinent thereto collectively to the projects and or a portion of the debt service requirements on any bonds issued in connection therewith, all at an established estimated cost of $30 million. Collection of the quality of life sales tax to commence a later date and cessation of 0.25 retailer sales tax implemented October 1.
So it ends when all that's completed? So
It's a 10-year.
10 years?
So that was on the ballot in 16, then starting in
17.
No,
No,
November
it's
7th,
on-
2017. That was when it was on the ballot.
Oh, it had to be on municipal because it was municipal tax. Okay.
It was 8 years.
So that for 10 years. They would,
Is that 10 years or when it's completed?
No, shall expire 10 years after its commencement.
So
it does have sunset on it too.
But haven't they expended most of those funds for the rec centers?
Well, they're saying they have up to this date, and that's why they're waiting till the money comes in to do these.
That's pretty bold to think that we're going to get $30 million.
Well, it says, or January 1, 2018 is the implemented, so it goes through 27.
I don't know how they could be so specific because not a lot of people play tennis. They play pickleball, but they can't play tennis.
But it was in there.
It's in there.
That's what they got to do.
Yeah, they said 11 courts. I mean, just
Well,
12.
Said this is,
Said
well,
12.
I found it just as you.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Found it just as you did. It also talks about, but they said that in that thing that Jason did, a couple of whatever, interview, I don't know, his interview from the lunch. When he gave that presentation, he said, yeah, they might look into turf. But it says here,
Has to be.
with synthetic turf.
It says it right in there. I'm surprised they got so specific on a
Yeah.
question like
Yeah,
that.
it's not strange.
It is to me, because that really ties your hands.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, also that's the groups that you're hearing from. So if you want to get their support, you better get them to.
People have been.
Well, yeah, they tried to pass other measures that are very vague too. And like I said, I don't think I voted for this.
I think I did.
I voted for the road tax because that obviously made sense, but
Well,
Not in the city. I didn't go for it.
I think I was on something there. Right.
So I think, the question is going to be, is the county going to stay at Seco Park long term? And then if they are they going to move to another portion of it? And even if you move to another portion of it, are you still willing to give up authority for another entity to build something on your property? Those are the questions you'll eventually have to answer.
Well,
Or we could
because
sell the
basically-
whole thing.
Yeah, they talk about
Public
that,
auction.
trying to move it. It's just too expensive at this point. So we need to do improvements there. We need to make sure we keep our grounds we have room to make whatever improvements.
Right.
I'm of the opinion that we can stay there for quite a bit longer now.
Yeah.
50 years down the road, I don't know. I can't answer.
Yeah, but with some.
Maybe even 20 years down the road, I don't know that I can answer that. I don't know what the shape of affairs are going to be in 20 years from now, to be totally honest with you. And yeah, I don't
sitting around.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the entertainment side affairs are going to look like in a generation or two.
Yeah.
I think 5 years we're going to be solid. I think we'll be okay, but 2 generations down the road, I can't tell you what that's going to look like. So I can't tell you what that's going to be. I don't know that anybody has a solid answer for that. I look at some of the other bigger counties and stuff, and some of them are kind of shifting from some of the carnivals to actual live entertainment. I mean, music, festival type things. I'm not saying that's going to work here, but we just can't answer that at this point in time. So I don't know, but I do know that I think we've got enough acreage working there to where we can make that work where it's at.
We've got quite a bit.
I think that's the challenge. I think Commissioner Ford, that's how all leaders need to look at it, not now.
Yeah.
In the future. I understand that it's a crystal ball, but you really need to look at long term, what's in the best interest of the community, the county, the direction the county wants to go. And so.
I mean, I don't want to make a bunch of renovations and then 5 years go, no, sorry, we need to move it someplace.
If I knew it was still going to say heavily agricultural with the number of animals and the trailers and stuff, I say we don't fit in Seco Park. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
You don't fit in Seco Park, but I can't guarantee that that's going to happen in 20 years.
I will tell you the one thing that I see just from a demographical standpoint is your farm families aren't as large.
Well, yeah,
You don't have 6, 7, 8 kids that are going to be coming in. Yeah,
Because each farm is getting.
It's
right.
getting more and more incorporated with
Right.
large corporations.
The 4-H, the stuff they do in that building is, like I said, my grandkids live in Manhattan, so they're not doing the ag stuff. And they're doing a lot of other things, but there's no room.
Yeah, the photography, the modeling, the woodworking and stuff, all that stuff is taken off, but
It's all filling up in it.
yeah.
yeah.
You don't need trailers for that, but I don't know what that shift's going to
Trailers need to go to another side
I
of the
mean,
park.
one part of it is the planning, but even if we have a vision, where is it on your priority list to fund that vision?
Yeah.
To me, we still gotta solve the big puzzle, and that's office space. Whether it's a new building or a different building or whatever, to me, I mean, decades ago when they went through it, it was determined. Courts and EMS were the number one priority. Judge Merle Wilson, who I saw, where did I see him? Power Cap. I took my son to lunch last week, saw Merle Wilson. He was pounding the gavel saying, we got to have more court space, got to have more court space. And then he went on the tour to the EMS ambulance facility, said, no, they need to be first.
Well, yeah,
And so-
we gotta deal with courts too, because that's.
And I think we got that one in the works and we're okay there. And then, the second one is admin and judicial. And
Well, those
I think
two
there's
go
some ideas.
kind of hand in hand, if you open up some space down here or whatever, then, I think courts is going to want to stay here.
yeah,
Yeah,
Courts and county
Well,
attorneys,
yeah.
for sure.
they just need more space.
Agreed.
They really do for new court. These big trials they're having.
we're not going to have them.
Well,
Most of this is
as we
backlog.
grow, we're gonna get more of these.
But I've looked at that here over the last decade or so. We're not growing substantially. I mean, things around us are growing substantially, but population wise,
Well, I think the
Population.
resident population, because college population, we've maintained population as the college is going down. So I think the residents are going up to fill up.
It's the only way we're maintaining.
It's the only reason we're maintaining.
Well, you gotta remember,
College
right-
It's going like they want it to, then
Mhm.
that's gonna, both numbers are gonna start growing.
Violence is going up though. Violence and domestic violence and a lot of burglaries, a lot of.
but you look at people. Oh,
Wonder they got a real gun problem.
They're really,
but you look at those numbers over the course of 40 years compared to just 10 years, demographically, that's been increasing too. At roughly the same substantial rate. We're just hitting thresholds is what it is. So
well, we don't have crystal balls. I wish we did.
Yeah, but unfortunately, you're in those positions to be the ones that help shape the future.
Yeah.
I think you have to make some smart decisions in the short term that get you in that 15 to 20-year range. And
Yeah, I mean,
we're not
That's all.
responsible for it after that. We've set it up the best we can for those individuals at that particular point in time.
And if we solve things now for 10 to 15 years, it's not like we're kicking it down the road another.
And you've set it up with some options in place there, maybe what you're doing doesn't work at that point in time, but you haven't invested so much in it that you're stuck.
I'm very curious as to the direction of the discussion.
Well,
Well-
I'm sure we're going to hear about it pretty soon thereafter.
I just don't think we want to give up any.
Well, I'm just going to say this
I don't think.
open and honestly right now, a whole agricultural event center thingy, however you want to define it, is not on my radar. It's not a priority. We've done a lot of the quality of life
I
things
think
that
that'll
we've
be a
just
key
discussed.
question to answer.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the question that's going to come at you.
I'm sure it is, and I'm answering it right now by telling you that's not on my radar. We were just talking about county debt. Ours is about $10 million out of the $510 million that's on the table right now. I'm not going to add 10, whatever that ends up being, another 10% on top of that. $500 million that we're already in debt. Quality of life thing's great. they're good things, they're things that could be useful, but needs over wants at this point in time. Those are things that we want. We need to build a better foundation than what we have right now. Then you can get some of the things that you want. We don't have the things that we need, and we need to work on that. That's what's substantial.
And the big thing is maintaining what we've got and keeping them in working order. You know, like the city, I mean, a lot of their things are really decrepit and they're not taking care of them, like that tennis courts down there at Seco, they're in terrible.
We all like the Discovery Center, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a great addition to the community, but when you're doing studies and you're doing work on what the pliability of that is, you never take into account the operations of it, the maintenance of it, the upkeep of all that. You need to add that to it because it's losing just based off of that. And I'm not saying that's a reason not to do something or to do something, but you need to take that into consideration when you're putting those things together, or else you get behind on something else trying to take care of that.
And the taxpayers have to fix it.
I mean, if that agricultural events thing is what we need, then what we need to do is we need to revamp our conversations and get back with the university and use what they're building.
Well,
There's no reason not to.
That's not a fair, that's not something with fair. That's a separate thing. I think that event center they're talking about, it might be used, but that wasn't the primary use. It was going to be a bunch of other stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah. it'd be-
Yeah, but I think the fair people are pretty supportive of it because they know they get to use it some.
Yeah.
Well,
And that's all what's kind of pushing these issues. Is
Yeah,
all of those
you know
groups
what?
that are interested.
You come up with the resources and you come up with a way to help maintain and secure it. Because I'm not going to be responsible just for that. So you can use it a week out of the year and a few times outside of that. Sorry.
we're talking about the fair itself, not other events.
Well, I'm talking about the whole big picture.
He's gonna take care of it and book all that, and it's a whole administrative thing to do, but we need to get the task force to really give us.
No, we just ended the task force.
Well, the task force, this is what the task force is telling you.
And themselves.
But I'm
To
saying
me,
I'm not.
I don't see how a community our size needs two large event center type places with K-State building the one that they're building and us building.
There'd also be direct
reason
competition
people
with
can't
each
work
other for
together.
those private events, and that doesn't do us any good either.
Can't work together. That's a big ticket item.
Competition with private enterprise.
Well, at least initially, we don't want to give up any of our land to figure out what we're doing. You know, that's what you can tell them.
And right now, to be honest with you, if we had to, because land is hard to get right now.
Sure, especially.
And out there, the
town.
public works, they still need to be used for something outside of that said fact. That's not a given just yet either. And it's been kind of made clear to us that that land out there may not be big enough to put fairgrounds out there if you're taking the carnival or entertainment or whatever sense, you know.
Well, maybe it depends on what you put out.
It's a lot bigger than what we got right now.
No, that's
a lot of area.
That's what I look at it and think it's perfect.
No, you can't do the motorcycle racetrack that was initially
No.
put in the plan, but
Oh, yeah.
We have more
Rod Meredith was a big motocross guy and yeah, he had designed a big.
Well, and that's the whole thing.
Outside
Everybody's got an idea about yeah.
Personal interest
Right, yeah.
idea.
It's like tennis courts, and pickleball courts.
Yeah, and that's my thing.
What's
How
the
long's
next
pickleball
one?
gonna be around? You know,
Yeah,
I thought that fad would already be dead, but apparently it's not. So I don't-
no, it's not for sure.
You got a lot of.
I say bring back fencing. And why stop there?
It's part of agriculture fencing.
Right. That's not the kind of fencing I'm talking about.
Talking about the swords.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting. I'll be interested to kind of sit there and listen to whatever.
Well, when they ask, you
is
can
on.
say at least one's made their opinions pretty known and they can get back with it.
Oh, I know exactly what the issues are. I mean, even if we have a plan, we don't have no money dedicated to do such thing in any short time period.
Yeah.
Where are you gonna get the money?
Come up with a money plan and then we'll look at it.
Like my son came in a while back. Well, we need to do this. I said, when you walk in the house, did you walk by a money tree?
Yeah.
And did you already pick the money off of it?
Did you grab a handful?
Yeah. Did you walk by a money tree? I mean, where's this idea coming from?
Well, it's good to dream.
Well, and the other thing with that, even if you did want to do that right now, probably not the right time to do that right now, just financially as well. I mean, you might want to wait 3 to 5 years, wait till inflation comes
I
back
don't want to
down.
own anything right now.
Yeah, I mean, we're already kind of in the midst of trying to build something that's overinflated already, and
I don't disagree getting a plan together isn't a bad idea, but like I said, I still think, at least from everything I've heard, and I would have said previous commissions have been the same tenor, is the county's not willing to give up any of its current footprint.
They can give us back the pool too.
We really don't want to maintain a
No.
pool.
I
No,
can say, we get it back, we're just gonna fill it up.
I know, I mean,
We can push that snow hill.
yeah.
It's a
so
sledding,
they-
yeah,
they-
the pool.
they did the pool there.
Below ground fencing arena.
yeah,
Yeah, because
I've got a lot of memories.
it's just so expensive to run.
That's why I say we don't want that pool.
No, but I mean, the
But
land.
we want an indoor pool
Oh, yeah.
on top of it.
If you figure out how to finance that, Commissioner Ford.
That's not gonna be my issue.
Staff it, have lifeguards year round.
I think you could probably figure out a way to staff it. It's maintaining and operating.
Well, right now, the pool is staffed by college students in the summer. So they're kind of have fun. People willing to do it year round.
Yeah.
Which they might be.
I think you can make that one work. It's all the other elements that go along with that.
Well, it's just the fact that it loses money every day, and
Yeah.
that's a fact.
It has to be subsidized.
And what do you unsubsidize or offset to make up the difference? And that's always a local entity. That's why your private gyms and your private YMCA's and stuff that are kind of 501(c)s or nonprofits gave up on it because it's not an easy way of doing that. So, Genesis or those type of people, they can overinflate subscriptions to make up the difference along the
And
way.
pay for taxes.
Well, and not pay the taxes. Yeah.
Well, that's just it. If you do that, then it gives them even more fuel to the fire for their argument.
Okay,
So yeah, no, I understand what the board is. I'm just curious to see what their discussion is, because it seems like the chamber and probably the city and I don't know what other groups are pretty
there would be.
interested.
Well, they better figure out a way to fund it then.
I'll bet that's what I hear bright and early tomorrow.
Yeah, you can
If they can
First
fund it.
item on my agenda.
listen to it all you want, doesn't mean
I'm willing to give them some land out there at the shops if they want to fund it.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
to put the fairgrounds in.
There's an idea.
Yeah, and they need to find the money, like
You're
$20
filling
million.
Philanthropic funding.
Otherwise,
That'd be a
we
cheap
have,
item.
we have a big piece of land right in the center of town, which it wasn't in the centers before, it was outside of town. It's almost the center.
It's getting pretty close.
Oh, yeah, 89 acres over there isn't anything to sneeze at, actually, 89.5.
It's kind of unique when you think about it. You got you got commercial just kind of to the north of that, and you've got
Housing,
you've got you've got kind of commercial residential right to the east, and you've got straight residential to the west and the southwest and the south, and
it's all residential.
Yeah.
A lot of it's
So-
residential.
And despite what some people might think, that wrote an article about it, it already is divided up into city, county.
Yeah.
And school.
Oh, they said it wasn't? Really?
Ned.
Really?
He likes to play tennis.
yeah, that is true.
His one editor said, well, they just need to get it divided up between the sections. I know.
All right.
So it's supposed to be divided up into parts, or what?
Website shows it.
There were several, another one of those things that had a lot of
I knew that.
statements there.
I don't even bother. Do
All right.
you have Friday paper in your office?
Yeah, Cindy will have it. We have to get it to cut out the legals. We have
I
to
just
keep
want
those.
I want the
I'll talk to Cindy. She can probably get it for you.
I want the section that has the word search.
That's Cindy.
Section.
Important part.
Yeah, that's the important part. I don't have anything to
Might
do
be in the
with it.
recycle pile already, but
I do that in the morning every day to wake up my brain. Anyway, okay. I
It's
think
getting to that time of the year where I do it differently and it's called coffee, but cat,
it goes along with it.
so.
Okay, any further business?
No,
Okay. How about a motion?
I'll make a motion that we adjourn the October 1st meeting of the Riley County Commission.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn the October 2nd meeting of the Riley County Commission.
Oh, it is the second, sorry.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.